Hello and welcome to the post-match show. I'm Vaibhav Tripathi. So the news is CSK, Chennai Super Kings, the five-time champions. Finally, they have been eliminated and they have been thumped by the Gujarat Titans, who sealed the top two spot with a big win, 89 runs win margin. And what way to win their last league game in front of the home crowd. The fans will be hoping that the same team comes back to play the final because the final will be played at the same venue. But today was another emphatic win for Gujarat Titans. Again, the top order, the carnage. CSK opted to bowl first, but they couldn't make most of the conditions. It was a red soil wicket. The conditions were favoring the bowlers, as we saw in the second innings. GT bowlers bowled really well. They dismantled the top order of CSK, and then it unraveled for CSK very quickly with the bat. But with the bat for GT, it was again their top order leading the way. Shubman Gill, he took the pressure of Sai Sudarshan, who was struggling in the power play. Shubman Gill taking the onus of attacking the bowlers. He did that pretty well in the power play, and then from there, the 100-run partnership between the openers. Then Shubman Gill got out. Spencer Johnson, outfoxing Shubman Gill with a slower ball. But then Josh Butler came in and carried the momentum in the same way. And then, a few important runs down the order from Washington Sundar. CSK's bowling looked hapless. Again, the fielding was definitely not up to the mark. And, it looks like they are missing a lot of players. Anshul Kamboj, who has bowled well throughout the season, again looked pale shadow of what he was in the first half. Same was with Noor Ahmed, Spencer Johnson, again leaking a lot of runs. So overall, very disappointing show from the CSK batters. Also, Sanju Samson getting injured. Him suffering finger injury. Then Urval Patel taking the gloves was the story of the first inning. And in the second innings, although Matthew Short, Ruturaj Gaikwad started really well, but again the Mohammad Siraj opening spell, I think that was the game-breaking spell for Gujarat Titans. That changed the momentum, and then from there, CSK were always playing the catch-up cricket. Whoever was coming out to bat, they were just throwing their bat. There was no resistance. There was no fight from the CSK batters. Eventually, courtesy of that fiery knock from Shivam Dubey down the order, they got to 140. But that was never enough. So yes, CSK eliminated. Gujarat Titans sealing the top two. Shamik, I'll first go to you. What do you think? Where CSK lost it? Many people are saying a fit Sanju Samson would have made the difference. Do you also agree with that? Given that we were discussing the pre-match that how vulnerable he has looked against the moving ball, and Siraj got him as the first ball itself.
Baba, at the pre-show, I was just on the verge of saying on that page against that bowling attack of Gujarat Titans, CSK didn't have a chance. I didn't say that I didn't want to offend the CSK fans before the game, but we have seen. They had absolutely no clue against Siraj. That spell and against when the ball was moving, he was making the ball talk basically. Siraj was making the ball talk, and they have absolutely no clue. Absolutely no clue. It is a proper hammering. 220 something, 230 and 140. It's a proper hammering. Without that Shibham Dubey's innings, it would have been even worse. So, CSK didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. And that's the story. End of story, basically. CSK didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. They were not good enough. They played well on and off in patches, but they lost all the big moments and they looked, completely different side in the sense when you compare them compare them with teams like Gujarat Titans, for example, or Royal Challengers Bangalore, for example. Uh, you agree that they are a level or two below, and you we are talking about CSK, but Gujarat Titans since 2022 they have been the most consistent team in the IPL because cricket has two aspects. One is planning, another is execution. Ashish Nehra is a fantastic coach. He is a top coach, and Shubman Gill is growing every day as a leader, and the way planning and execution, both the aspects, the way they have done, they deserve. Obviously, they are one of the teams of the IPL. Absolutely, congratulations, and CSK didn't deserve. It is this game is just a case. It was not a case in isolation. as I said on this pitch, then the CSK batting, the batsmen, they didn't have the technique to face that move, or face the challenges posed by Siraj and then Rabada, then Jason Holder to an extent. So absolutely, it's a lopsided affair.
Bharat, talking about the Gujarat Titans openers, I was just looking at a stat that they have piled up 21 plus 50 run stand, which is joint most in the history of the IPL, leveled with Virat Kohli, Chris Gill, Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers. Do you think that when these two will end their careers, they will be sitting right on the top? How well they complement each other. I remember the RCB match where Shubman Gill wasn't able to fire from one end, but it was Sai Sudarshan taking on the likes of Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Josh Hazelwood. Today it was the other way around. It was Shubman Gill taking on the CSK bowlers, while Sai Sudarshan allowing Sai Sudarshan to buy some time, get the hold of the pitch, and then Sai Sudarshan also coming on to his own in the middle overs. Do you think they complement each other really well? And despite not being renowned as well as like an Ishan Kishan, Travis Sheikh, Priyansh Arya, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, Yashasvi Jaiswal, these technical batters do make the same impact. Strike rate, even if you look at their strike rate, both are 150 plus, 155 plus only. So they are making some serious impact, and the volume of runs, it is very consistently that they are getting.
See, first of all, they understand the conditions and at the Narendra Modi Stadium. I'm not very sure it's about the color of the soil here because for every game they have left grass cover. Today there was a little less grass cover, but still the ball was nipping around a little bit when even Chennai Super Kings were bowling. So they understand the conditions quite well. They know when to go up as far as the gears are concerned, when to kind of consolidate. So I think we have to give it to them. Something that you already noted in the game against RCB, one of the batters tried to take on the opposition, and the other batter kind of played himself in. So that is what really works for Gujarat Titans openers. They complement well. They understand the conditions quite well too, especially at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Yes, they might have missed a trick in that at Eden Gardens, where I guess even Jose Butler, someone like Jose Butler, could have uh, could have gone out to the bowling in an over or two before, but in certain conditions they really understand what to do and what not to do, and I think that is what really works for Gujarat Titans' top order. That includes Jose Butler, and today actually it was good to see Jose Butler striking from ball one. He didn't take those 10-15 deliveries. Somewhere I think he's learnt his lesson after that game against KKR. So overall, the top order is doing well, as I noted at the Narendra Modi Stadium. They have the pace attack, traditional kind of pace attack to hit out at the opposition, and I think Chennai Super Kings were outgunned in these conditions. Maybe they had at his best. Gurjapneet Singh looked okay, but he still tried too many cutters in those conditions when he should have used his high release point to good effect. But still, I think CSK were just outgunned in those conditions in terms of batting as well as fast bowling.
Sarojini, Bharat made a point about Josh Butler's strike rate. If you look at the last game, things were pretty much in control of Gujarat Titans in the run chase. But the way Josh Butler, started, obviously he came into bat at number 4. There was a blunder sending somebody like, a youngster. I think it was a blunder not sending Josh Butler at 3, but still
You
he
mean Nishan
started
Sindhu, right?
slowly.
You're talking about the game against
Nishan
KKR,
Sindhu
right?
came in. Nishan Sindhu came in at 3, but it was a blunder to not send Josh Butler at 3. But even when Josh Butler came in, he was taking a lot of time, and the required run rate kept going up. But this time, batting, obviously there was no scoreboard pressure since GT were batting first. But this is the Josh Butler that GT wants. Striking from the ball one, and Josh Butler is inarguably England's best white ball batter. So when you know that you have a reputation, you have played in these conditions a lot, you have been an IPL legend, you should play like that. And GT fans would be very happy the way Josh Butler is batting now. I think he has found the form back at the right time, because if you look at the last 5-6 and no single 50-run score before the last game as well. So I think Josh Butler's form clicking at the right time for GT.
Definitely, even we saw him struggling during the World Cup as well, because Josh Butler, he was not the kind of destructive batter that he is during the World Cup. And after that, when he came into the IPL, eventually he did take some time to settle down and gain his momentum. But like you mentioned, rightly mentioned, that in the match against KKR, he was sent at number 4, and I think that kind of backfired for GT. And today also we saw when he came into bat, you scoring those runs from just 23 balls, if I'm not wrong. I think it was brilliant, and the way he was complimenting the other batters at the non-striker end was also commendable. He did definitely settle down a little, but then the over from Noor Ahmed, oh my god, the way he exploded and the way he hit Noor Ahmed for those two brilliant sixes, I think that was extraordinary. That 22-run over was very crucial. And what I noticed was that every time a bowler missed its length, I think there were a few Yorkers that were missed from Spencer Johnson, because Spencer Johnson missed his length today. Mukesh Chaudhary was missing his length, Anshul Kamboj. So every time a bowler missed their length, it was Josh Butler who was going out there hitting and punishing the bowlers. And especially we got to see him shuffle across the stumps. I think that is something that makes Josh Butler so special. He shuffles, he has that tendency to shuffle, and the way he was striking the ball, it was very clean. And at the end, also in the death overs, also he showed aggression, but I think it was calculated aggression. He did not go out there and try to hit every other ball. He was there, he was showing the intent, but it was very calculated, and he very well understood what the team and what the situation required from him as a batter. And I think the slower penalty rate also, that kind of helped him a little, and he used the way he focused at the fielders and the way he generated those shots, I think it was brilliant from Josh Butler today.
Shamik, GT's bowling obviously has been the best bowling attack in the IPL, even if you go by the stats. See the quality of pace bowlers that they have in their arsenal. The likes of Mohammad Siraj and Kagiso Rabada with the new ball. And in the middle overs, then again you have two tall bowlers in Jason Holder and Sid Krishna. Today the job was done in the power play with Mohammad Siraj taking 3 quick wickets, and then Kagiso Rabada. The thing is not just having quality fast bowlers, but the pace at which they are operating. Mohammad Siraj also touched 154. I have never seen Mohammad Siraj touching 154 in his IPL career. Today he did. And same with Kagiso Rabada. Kagiso Rabada in 1 over he bowled continuously, not a single ball below 150. Do you think it's a pace also at which they are bowling? They are hurrying the batters more, and in these conditions, red soil, you know, especially vulnerable batting like CSK, going ahead in the tournament, in the knockouts, this is the bowling attack, which everybody should fear from.
Vaibhav, I will come to their bowling, but before that, a bit of prelude is needed. First of all, you spoke about Josh Butler not coming in at number 3, and that was a deliberate tactical move because GT were planning for the playoffs, where they will face tougher opponents than Chennai Super Kings. They will face tougher opponents than Chennai Super Kings, and that would be serious contest. That would be serious contest, not a lopsided one. So it was imperative from Ashish Nehra and Shubman Gill's point of view to have everyone ready going into the playoffs. So they are planning. I mean that's what good teams do. They plan. They look ahead. Number one. Number two. GT are the new CSK. I mean, you look at CSK under MS Dhoni, they had their own template, right? The, the other 8 teams, other 7 teams, during that time, IPL used to be a 17, 8, used to be an 8-team affair. The other 7 teams played in a different way, and under Dhoni, CSK played in a different way. They set their own template, and Gujarat Titans amid all the clamor of this going gung ho right from the ball one, everything, they have set their own template. They are never going for 270 or 250 or 260. They know that the bowling attack that we have, if we will be good enough if we post 210, 215, because we have the bowling wherewithal to defend the target irrespective of conditions. So they are setting their own template. Now coming to the bowling part, yes, fantastic. But this tall bowler logic is a very dud logic. Malcolm Marshall was 5 feet 11. This is a very dud logic. It is about quality. It is Keith Miller was not a six. Keith Miller was not 6 feet 2. So it's a very dud logic. The fact of the matter is that it is down to a skill set. Whether you are a tall bowler or not so tall bowler, whatever it is down to your skill set. And and if you look at that bowling lineup, if you will see quality. Mohammad Siraj, Tagisa Rabada, And then the backup seamers also, Jason Holder included, and the stability. It is not like Mohammad Siraj is bowling just one over in the with the new ball and then he has been taken away. It is they. I mean, you look at their pattern almost in almost all the matches. Rabada and Siraj paired up to bowl the power play. Right, that is stability, and that is the right, that is the mindset, and that is the approach they have taken. So from that point of view, it is about stability, it is about quality, and obviously the execution and the planning part. So all in all, Gujarat Titans have been very, very impressive.
Certainly, Gujarat Titans have been very impressive, and they have been a method side. If I have to buy words from somebody, then they have been a method side who have done really well, have found the key to consistency. Bharat, coming to you, again the same thing. Their bowling, it looks like, obviously they are the most impressive bowling unit overall. Even if you look at the way Rashid Khan cleaned up the lower middle order tail, it tells you that the bowlers are in form, and going ahead, they will have two chances at the final if they finish at the top two, which is most likely the case. Then in these conditions, it's very tough to beat a side like GT, who's got a very stable top order, who's been firing, and they know their conditions really well. And then you have a bowling which can dismantle any batting lineup under 150, which can restrict any batting lineup under 150, and then you have a batting lineup that can chase 200 plus as well.
Yes, yeah, I go back to that same point. It's more of a traditional pace attack in the sense that, yeah, Jason Holder may try a few loopy, slower deliveries, but still, all these four fast bowlers look to hit the pitch. Siraj just seems the ball a little bit, nips it around, but still, he's not someone who will try about 7, 8 slower ones or 10 slower ones. It's a very traditional kind of pace attack that works well when there is any kind of little bit of sea movement or little bit of bounce, and that is what we have seen at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Beat a black soil pitch, beat a red soil pitch. They have left some grass cover. I think today the grass cover was a little less, but still the ball is, even today the ball nipped around a little bit off the seam. So I think that is when Gujarat Titans' pace attack works really well, and it's going to be difficult to beat this side unless the opposition also has 2 3 tall fast bowlers, 2 3 bowlers who bowl at around 140 kilometers per hour, seam it around. I think it's going to be quite tough. Even Royal Challengers Bangalore found it quite tough to outbowl Gujarat Titans at the Narendra Modi Stadium. And as we have already noted, their batters play according to the conditions. They don't necessarily go after the bowling if the ball is kind of nipping around a little bit. And occasionally, yes, they have taken chances like against Royal Challengers Bangalore, but still, even then, other batsman was looking to play himself in. So they're very much method side. For example, if they're chasing say 160, 170, they seem to believe that if the top three get about 100 runs, then the rest can somehow manage those 60, 70 runs and win the game for Gujarat Titans. So I think they have a lot of bases covered. The only time they seem to be rattled at Gujarat at the Narendra Modi Stadium was against Mumbai Indians when Tilak Verma played that exceptional innings from nowhere, and I think Mumbai Indians recovered from something like 80 or 100 for 4 or 5. Suddenly they made 198. Otherwise, it's very difficult to play against this kind of a pace attack. In those conditions, you may still beat them somewhere at Eden Gardens. You may still beat them at the Chinnaswamy, where you need a lot more slower ones, where you need to mix up your pace. But at the Narendra Modi Stadium, against this three-pronged, sometimes four-pronged pace attack, I think it would be a Herculean task for anyone. Even if Royal Challengers Bangalore come to the final and they meet Gujarat Titans, I think they have to be at their best to defeat this side in those conditions.
Sure, Jenny, coming to CSK's selection once again, a lot of talk about their playing 11. Again, they made two changes, and Akil Hussain once again dropping out. Was it a tactical miss again from CSK, given that, he has a good record against Josh Butler, it's a good record against left armers. Even if you can look at Shubman Gill's record against left arm spinners in last 2 3 years, I remember at the same ground, Ravindra Jadeja getting Shubman Gill stumped out in 2023 final. So could have been a better option when you know that Spencer Johnson, Mukesh Chaudhary, this bowling pair in power play hasn't been able to take wickets regularly. So playing Akil Hussain would have been a better option, but again, CSK seem to have missed the trick once again.
See, the thing with this overseas combination is I definitely understand that you can only play certain players. But again, Akil Hussain has been a crucial part in the bowling lineup. We've seen that whenever he's come in, he has taken wickets. The way he coordinates with Noor Ahmed and the kind of relation that both of them have on the field when they are, bowling, the way they complement each other, I think that is very crucial. And when Akil Hussain is not out there, I think Noor Ahmed somewhat or the other misses a partner because see the speciality with both of them is that when one goes for runs, the other one comes in and controls the overs and kind of takes in the wicket. So even if there's a situation, Noor Ahmed bowls from one end, controls and keeps the run under check, and then Akil Hussain comes in from the other end and take wickets. Or if Noor Ahmed has a bad day, then Akil Hussain comes in and chips in. So I think both of them, they really complement each other very, very well. And we saw against Sunrisers Hyderabad the way Akil Hussain, he was very economical. He bowled only 3 overs, but he took one wicket also, and then he gave I think 7 runs per over. That was his economy. And today he was not there, and we clearly saw that the other bowlers who were there, they were struggling. Mukesh Chaudhary, Spencer Johnson, Anshul Kamboj, Noor Ahmed. Even Noor Ahmed was expensive today. Shivam Dubey was also, that one over game he gave 15 runs. But the point is that Akil Hussain definitely is a very big part of the bowling lineup of CSK, and I really don't understand why he's dropped. I mean, I do understand, like I mentioned in the beginning of my answer, that I do understand that the overseas combination, the thing comes in, but I think Akil Hussain and Noor Ahmed are very crucial in the team, and I don't think anybody else can come in and replace them.
Shamik, CSK went with a different tactic today. They opened with a Sanju Samson and Matthew Shot. Matthew Shot, I think, was brought in just for this because earlier in the season, whenever Matthew Shot has batted, he never batted at the top of the order. He always batted at number 4 for CSK, and primarily is an opener or number 3. If we look at his BBL career, Australia have used him at number 7, but that plan never worked out. But today, Matthew Shot, they tried to save Ruturaj Gaikwad from the new ball bowlers. Make him bat at number 3. Ruturaj Gaikwad, batted really well for his 16. Looked really good in comparison with his last innings. The last few innings, the intent was there, but again, giving away the start. And again, going back to the toss, when historically you haven't chased well when it comes to 170 plus targets. Was again it a tactical miss because you always knew that this team on a flat wicket is going to post at least 200. So with this bowling lineup, CSK was never going to restrict GT. Either they were too optimistic of restricting GT under 200, or they were very confident with their batting. But that didn't happen. So do you think it was a tactical miss? And again, Ruturaj Gaikwad as well, closing the season again on a low score. You're on mute.
Rituraj Gaikwad, he went through a serious form slump in this IPL. But Baba, I'm not good at the numbers. So if you please can tell me how much did they fork out for Matthew Shot CSK? How much did they fork out for Matthew Shot? And how many runs and how many wickets has he taken? I don't think you will not get the parity. You will not get the value for money. There are the statistics
He was
for
bought at the base price of 1.5 crore.
1.5 crore. But whatever it is short, he has been a massive flop. He has been a massive flop. In fact, once again I go back to Chennai Super Kings auction strategy. It is not only about the batting and the bowling. Yes, they have suffered a lot. I mean, right from the start, they have suffered a lot. So many injuries, everything. They have suffered a lot. But once, I mean, just moving ahead, just taking that aside, if you look at their auction strategy, when you see someone like Kartik Sharma and this other guy, this I
Prashant Veer,
just for
Prashant Veer.
Prashant Veer, have been bought for a combined 28 crore. It beggars belief. I mean, you compare it with KKR, Kolkata Knight Riders. They forked out about 24 or 25 crore for whom? Cameron Green, a real match winner. They they broke the bank knowing full well that Cameron Green during the initial stage will not be able to bowl because he was being monitored by Cricket Australia. But look how fantastic a value addition he has been, and that is what you call proper auction strategy. CSK basically lost this IPL uh, at the auction. They are not good enough. Yes, they were unlucky. Rab of the Green didn't go their way, but they never had the squad. They never had the wherewithal or that X factor to go the distance.
But you agree with the point that CSK didn't had a great auction, and they didn't had a side despite the injuries. They didn't had a side to go at least make the playoffs.
Maybe they had an outside chance of making the playoffs. Their one real X factor I thought was throughout the season was Jamie Orton.
And what
Already
about Nathan Ellis? Wasn't that a big miss given his
it was a
exploitation?
miss. Still, he was. I would consider him as more of a defensive bowler. In the slog overs, he might have come in the equation, but you need a kind of wicket taker, especially when you come out to conditions like in Lucknow, conditions like in Ahmedabad, where you need a good fast bowler who can bowl 145 kilometers per hour, perhaps hit the pitch hard, a tall fast bowler. And that is where I think Jamie Orton really helped them. But it so happened that he did so well on slower wickets when they really needed him on a couple of faster wickets. When there was bounce, when there was a little bit of nip, he got injured. That was a massive blow for them. And yes, I don't think they could really recover. After Jamie Orton also got injured. Yes, there were other blows like Ayush Matre got injured, as you noted. Nathan Ellis got injured. In between, our Khalil Ahmed also got injured. So there were so many injuries in between, but I think they had an outside chance of making it to the playoffs. Looking at their squads, as I said, a lot of lightning and thundering is coming out here in Bengaluru. It seems like it will rain for the entire night. I even saw some hailstorm in the evening. Anyway, coming back to this particular match, is I think they lacked a little bit of X factor, barring maybe Jamie Orton or a couple more players. So I would say their best chance was an outside bet to get into the playoffs, but they didn't look like the team that would go on to win the title.
Vaibhav, just one point I
Yes.
missed. I missed out on one point. You look at Gujarat Titans, and when multi-skilled cricketers have been made fashionable, the term multi-skilled cricketers have been made fashionable. You look at the squad; they have Ashish Nehra has banked on specialist. Sai Sudarshan, Shubman Gill, Josh Butler, Mohammad Siraj, Kagiso Rabada, Jason Holder, all are specialist players. I mean, Jason Holder is a specialist all rounder and he is a leader. I mean, as a former West Indies captain, he brings that leadership thing into the group. And you look at the specialists. So, the multi skilled cricketers theory, I mean, uh, giving a leg up to bits and pieces cricketer in the name of multi-skilled theory, Ashish Mehra have made that fall flat on its face. And that is a very, very positive thing. Irrespective of formats, Ashish Mehra is showing that it is the specialist who can do the job better than the rest because they are specialists and they are champion cricketers. You compare that with Chennai Super Kings, so many bits and pieces cricketers from top down, if you leave out Sanju Samson or Rituraj Gaikwad is going through a form slump, but he is a very good batsman. You have to accept that he is a good batsman. But top down, you look at that squad and you'll see so many bits and pieces players. That is not the way. That is not the way. I hope CSK will learn from their mistakes, but I still believe they will need one more transfer or auction window, and the best they can hope for is a bounce back in 2028.
Again, 2028 and same sort of thing, similar sort of thing. Shamik said in the pre-match as well that 2027 still will be a transition year for CSK. That's his prediction.
I wrote a copy also pretty early into the tournament.
Yeah. Because he has closely observed. He has been a close observer of the franchises since the inception of the tournament. So Shamik has made its views. But Shorjini, coming to CSK's bowling ever since Jamie Overton has gone, I think it's Anshul Kamboj's form has also gone somewhere, because ever since Jamie Orton has gone, you would expect us Anshul Kamboj, who was the leading wicket taker, still leading wicket taker of CSK in this season, sitting third on the purple cap list. You would expect it better from him because Khalil was gone, Jamie was gone. In their absence, he would have taken a more responsibility, but it went on the opposite side. Anshul Kambos faltered with the new ball, and then again in the death overs as well, where he was doing really well. So Anshul Kamboj not bowling well has against SRH, and even this game, if you look at the number of runs he leaked, didn't go well with CSK, because if you look at the other end, then you have a Spencer Johnson who has played just a handful of games in the IPL. Mukesh Chaudhary has always been in and out, and then there are no options in the pace department. Gurjapneet again. He's a defensive bowler who doesn't go a lot for the wickets. Even like Bharat also made the point that he's not using the his height to a great effect. He can easily hit the hard length more frequently, but he's not trying that. He's only going for the cutter. So again, a defensive bowler. So only attacking bowler CSK had at their disposal were Anshul Kamboj, but Anshul Kamboj also going off track in the last two games also had impact on the CSK's campaign.
Definitely, I mean, Anshul Kamboj, see the pace attack. What we were talking about when Jamie Overton was there before he was ruled out. Jamie Overton was leading the pace attack. He was out there. Even with the bat, we saw him go out there and perform, and especially with the ball, the way he was bowling, the way he was taking wickets, controlling runs, and helping the team gain their rhythm. And then when Jamie Overton left, we all expected Anshul Kamboj to take the responsibility. And see, the thing about this format is that, we've seen the kind of pitches that IPL 2026 has. These all are belters. It's very easy for the batters to go out there and hit the shot. But again, on the other hand, we also have to see that there are bowlers out there who are going and keeping the economy rate under check, who are, taking wickets as well as not giving runs. And I think that is very important, and that is something that CSK expected from Anshul Kamboj. I mean, definitely he is taking wickets, but at the end of the day, what we have to keep in mind is that runs also matter in this format, because we've seen that the pitches, very few pitches assist the bowlers. Most of them are batting friendly pitches. So on the other hand, if you give loose deliveries or if you do not bowl according to proper line and lengths, it is definitely going to affect your economy rate. And Anshul Kamboj, definitely he should have taken more responsibility. This was the perfect time for him to show up and step up for his team and grow as a player and improve. And this would also benefit his career. But unfortunately, Anshul Kamboj could not capitalize the opportunity. Definitely, he's still the leading wicket taker, but the kind of runs that he has been leaking has been really concerning. Because if you look at the runs, right, his economy is around 13 to 14 per over. I mean, in the last 2 or 3 matches, we've seen that his economy rate has exceeded 10. And I mean, I do understand that batters are going out there and charging the bowlers, but somewhere or the other, I think he has to improve.
Also, at a point, one small point before you close it out. See
Yeah,
the
yeah.
conditions that we saw in Lucknow and Ahmedabad. You need to hit the pitch a little harder. I think Kamboj is someone who comes from the school that where he gets the ball to kiss the surface. If you get the ball to kiss the surface in the conditions that we have seen in Ahmedabad and in Lucknow, you will get smashed around. See how Nicholas Puran smashed him, or for the matter, Mitchell Marsh smashed him. He didn't get a single ball against Mitchell Marsh above shoulder height. Mostly it was around waist high. Even when he was trying that hard length, he was not getting a single ball to get it over the shoulder height. I think that was a key thing. In these conditions, you need to hit the pitch a little harder. It just his limitations, I think, unfortunately, came out.
Shami, you wanted to make a point? Okay, you're done. Okay. So yeah, this brings an end to CSK's campaign. For the third consecutive year, they have missed out on playoffs. The last time, obviously, at this very venue, Narendra Modi Stadium, they last lifted the title under MS Dhoni's captaincy. Ruturaj Gaikwad's tenure hasn't started really well. 3 years, 2 years of full captaincy, Ruturaj Gaikwad has failed to even qualify for take his team to qualification. Obviously, 2 years haven't gone really well because of the injuries. Injuries have played a role, but they will have to go through a full review thing, because again, one thing that has come in, that regular injuries to key players is a part of workload management. It comes down to the physios and the medical team. I think CSK will have to review that part, because it's the second consecutive season. On the other hand, Gujarat Titans have sealed the top 2 spot, so they have 2 chances to play the final at their home ground. And this will be the third final if they qualify. It will be the third final that they will be playing at their home ground. And let's see what happens with Gujarat Titans in the qualification. And yes, tomorrow is another important game. 2 of the teams that has already qualified, Sunrisers Hyderabad taking on Royal Challengers Bangalore in Hyderabad. Again, an important encounter as to who will be the second team to qualify. Obviously, Gujarat, the IRCB is favourite, But we'll have to see. If Sunrisers beat Hyderabad, beat RCB, then whether if they beat them by a big margin, then also net run rate will come into picture. We'll have to look at that. But interesting permutations and combinations. The final spot, the final playoff spot is still up for grabs. Rajasthan Royals obviously leading the contender, but today it is GT who sealed the top two, and that brings the end to our show. And we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, Shamik, Bharat,
But
and
before you sign off, you asked me if I have a last word. So
yeah.
I still believe Gujarat Titans and the final would be between Gujarat Titans and Royal Challengers Bangalore. I still believe because both will have a second bite at the cherry in the playoffs. Because being the top two, they will have a second bite at the cherry. But if KKR get into the playoffs, I back them to win the title.
Okay, that's a massive prediction from Shamik, and we will remember this come at the final. And let's see, because the turnaround, KKR's turnaround has been remarkable. It reminds me of the 2021 season under Owen Morgan when they went under that transformation. Second half, they bounced back. So we'll have to wait and see. For me, it's SRH at least one team that is going to the final. If it is
Because
SRH,
it is not in KKR's hands. Because if Rajasthan Royals beat
yeah,
MI,
obviously,
they
yeah,
will
yeah,
be
yeah.
through. They will be
That's
through. But if KKR somehow get into the playoffs, I
yes.
back them to win the title.
Let's see if it happens or not. For me, Sunrise Hyderabad are playing the final. I don't know about the other team, but let's see what happens. Thank you guys for joining, and do like, share, and subscribe, and keep following Rev Sports. Thank you.